AI agents are really cool. However, a lot of the different AI agents that exist do and perform really basic tasks. And in today's video, I'm going to show you an enterprise grade AI agent that you can set up with all sorts of different workflows. I'm going to show you how to set up your own workflows, as well as how to download and import workflows that you can get that are completely free, because this is completely open source and it is a community of people that are sharing their workflows with others. And because it is open source, it is all on GitHub. And as always, I'll have a link in the description below so you can check this out yourself. This is called Astron Agent. And if you scroll down, you can see everything that this agent has. So you can see like why to choose it and the key features. And we're going to cover all of that in this video. They also have this quick start with like a Docker compose, and it's going to go through all the steps, and you can go through everything step by step. I'm going to simplify it down for you and make it much easier. So just for the sake of you, the first thing you want to do is download something called Anti-Gravity, and this is from Google, completely free. You then want to download Docker Desktop, again, completely free, very easy to use. And once you have both of those installed, you're going to want to come back to the GitHub link, and I'll have all the links and everything you need in the description below, but we're going to take the URL, we're going to hit copy. Now we're going to go to Anti-Gravity, and if you're a programmer, I've been programming for like 20 years, Anti-Gravity makes things a lot easier, including cloning repositories and getting everything up and going. So you don't have to know any like the fancy steps or anything. If there's any errors along the way, it's going to take care of it all for us. So let's actually hit clone repository. We're going to put in the link that we copied from our GitHub, and we can hit clone from URL. What's going to happen is you're going to get a window that pops up. It says, hey, where do you want to put this? We're going to hit select here, and you can see in the bottom left, it is now starting to clone our repository. So all it's doing is it's going to take, I'm just going to scroll up here, you can see all the code kind of like in the background here, like the Gemini folder, GitHub folder, console, core, Docker, docs, FAQ. It's going to take all of those folders and it's going to copy all of the code to your own computer. So that's like the first step we need, and it is doing that now. And while we're waiting for Anti-Gravity to clone the repository, I want to remind you to subscribe. It's completely free. I cover AI on a daily basis, so you can stay up to date. You can get access to like AI workflows, AI tools, on a daily basis. So click subscribe, it's completely free. All right, so our Anti-Gravity is done. You can see it has cloned the repository. We're going to actually hit open now. And like I said, you can see all the files here on the left, and those are just all the files. The really important thing here is the README file. So the README file is exactly what we saw here. This has the quick start guide. And our model is smart enough to understand that. So we have an agent here. We can just put in this prompt here, and we can change it from planning to like fast, or we can leave it on planning. It doesn't matter. It's going to figure it all out. Basically, our prompt is, can you read the documentation, which is our README file, and do everything required to get this started on localhost? I have Docker installed. So again, go to the Docker website in the description below, install it, and then please use that. Once done, run it so I can open it up in my browser, and we're going to hit send. And again, if you are a programmer and have been programming for many years, you can do it manually. If you're not a programmer, you can still do it manually. Just come here, follow all the instructions one by one. But because I am lazy and this is the easiest way, it's going to pull it off for us. So it's analyzing the project structure, it's performing the Docker setups, and verifying that application is accessible. And I don't know what the last one, we can kind of skip that, and I'll show you what I mean when we get there. While you're setting this up, you're going to see from time to time, it's going to say, hey, do you want to accept this command? You can look them over, make sure it's not doing anything crazy, but generally it's going to do just fine because it's just literally following the README. So you can trust it. We're going to hit accept, and you can see here it is importing and starting our Docker services with the Docker image and everything we need from our Astron agent. And trust me, this is worth it. This is the hardest part of the entire process. After that, it's pretty smooth sailing from here. So after a little bit of time, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. It says the Astron agent is successfully set up, and it's started on your local machine using Docker. So I didn't have to do anything, literally just that one prompt. Entered it, it's ready to go. You can see we have the agent console and we have the authentication. So let's hit local host, and it's going to load up everything we need for our agent. Signed in, we're ready to go. On the left here, we're going to go to model management. That's our first step. I actually have one set up here, and I set up Gemini 2.5 Flash, and I just want to show you that it's really easy to set up as many different large language models as you want. So here I have Gemini, and I really should say 2.5 Flash. So when I go to call it later, I know exactly which one it is. And we can see we have a description with the model, we have an API endpoint we put in, and now we have an API key. So if you want to do this, you can go to aistudio.google.com, you can get a key. It's very easy. And you can put in your key here, or you can hit select local model and you can set up a local model. And if you have a model on your computer, you can do that as well. So once you have your key, you put it in, it's going to verify it. It says model successfully created. And now we have an actual large language model that will be connected to our agent. So there's only one thing left to do, it's to create an agent itself. So if we go to the agent marketplace, there's going to be nothing there yet because we need to make one. So we can hit create, and you can see here we can create prompts, workflows, and voice or virtual creation. So for the sake of this video, we're going to really focus on workflows. So if we hit workflow, you can see here we can actually create a creation, and we also have import. So if you want to import anything that you see online, you said, hey, this is really cool, you can actually import it in, and you don't have to go through everything I'm about to show you. So we can go to custom creation, and it's important to understand what I'm about to show you because you can always make adjustments to even agents that you bring in. So if there's any workflow you bring in, you can say, okay, I actually want to change this or tweak that. You can do it. So you can see here on our page, we have this little box here. If we click any of these boxes, there's going to be a window on the right, and this gives us additional information. So you can actually see it tells us everything that it has. This is just an input, and you can like zoom out. We have our input and we have our finish. And depending on what block you pick, it's going to have different things. So this is the end. It's going to say, hey, how do you want to return the data? It is very, very powerful. This tool is extremely powerful, but also very easy to use, despite how there's a lot going on. So on the left, there is a bunch of different nodes, and you can actually see we have like large language model, there's code, and if you highlight over any of them, it tells you exactly what it is. So we have like knowledge base versus knowledge base pro, and actually tells you exactly what the difference is by just reading what they are. And if we scroll down, we have access to tools, different logic, and transformations, other, and just like there's so much databases, so on and so forth. And everything is super easy. So say we want to add a large language model, we can actually just hit the plus. You can actually see it popped up here. We can move it around, and at any point in time, we can just like drag and drop and connect everything. And just like that, we have a very simple workflow. We have a very simple agent that really isn't super helpful yet. We're going to get there. Before we get to creating our own, I want to show you how you can like import others, and I'm going to give you some examples of some that exist. So we actually have this GitHub repository. Again, links in the description below for everything you need. It's called the Awesome Astron Workflow, and there is also a link. If you click like this link here, it's going to lead you to this website here, just like a nicer GUI version of the same exact thing. There are 10 different workflows that you can just quickly download and start using right away. So if you want to do like an AI resume assistant, you can do it, a translator, multi-platform writer. We can actually hit view workflow, and it's going to link us to the GitHub to the exact thing that we need. And it is all right here. So we're going to actually hit download our file here, and we're going to come back to Astron. This time around, we're going to hit create agent, and we're going to hit create workflow, but we're going to hit import. And you can see it says, hey, can you drag or drop the file? Yeah, well, yeah, we can. So we can just go here, drag it over, and now we can hit save. And check this out. The entire workflow is done for you, and this is the power of open source. So we can actually see it all, and we can see exactly what's going on. So the user is going to start entering something, and then it's going to go through. It's already using our Gemini 2.5 Flash model. Again, depending on what model you want to use, if you have multiple models, you can set this all up and change it up to your liking. So you can see like the intent. So is it Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever the intent may be, and then we can see like advanced configuration. So it kind of gives you like different things. So it says, hey, if the user mentions Twitter or X or a tweet, then the intent should be Twitter. If it's LinkedIn or workplace or professional style, then it's so on and so forth. So it's just basically taking the user's input here and then breaking that down based off the decision. So this is how the decision logic works. It determines what the user's input, and then it's going to make different outputs. So if it's Twitter, you can actually see here. Now it's Twitter. If it's LinkedIn, you can see it here, so on and so forth. And depending on that, we can actually click here. And now there's a system prompt to make a tweet, for example. And then it's going to process the text, it's going to have like references, and then lastly, it's going to output whatever you made. So once we have our application and we're like, okay, this is really cool, we can try it out, we can hit debug, we can like type in whatever we want, we can test it out. We can also hit publish, and this is phenomenal. We can also release this as an API. So you don't have to use like this website with this like clunky UI. You can actually release it as an API, which means you can now use anti-gravity, for example, to create a nice interface for you based on your agent. So you can actually hit create API. We can give our app a name. I'm just going to put it in mumbo jumbo. It doesn't matter. And now we can like select our application. We can hit buy now, and we now have an actual API. And we can even see a Python demo, Java demo, and it's going to download. We have our URL, the API key, everything we need to make our agent work outside of this website. So that's enough about setup and workflows and agents. Let's actually get into the actual workflows and let's create one that's actually helpful. Here's a workflow that I created. I'm going to take you through each step in the process so you have an idea of how it all works. And I know this looks really simple. It's like start a YouTube content creation and then end, and you think, hey, that's really simple, but let me hit debug. I just want to show you how this works. So there is an agent user input, and that's basically saying, hey, what is your video about? And then we can even add like a longer summary or a script about our video. I'm just going to put that in for now. And then we can say, okay, what is like the level of our video? So it is like really basic because it's so easy to use this tool, and then say, okay, how many tags do we want to include? So maybe we want 5 tags that we want to be able to use. And it's going to give us a formatted output using a large language model based on the data that we just entered in here. So if you notice in this workflow here, I'm not using one single input. I'm actually using 4 different inputs to be able to generate and customize the output the way I exactly want it. So you can actually see here your video here, and it tells us, hey, build a custom AI agent and your guide to personalized AI. And then it goes through and it gives us everything we need in a formatted JSON output. And we can actually see like, hey, subscribe for more AI and tech, and you really should. And if we keep going down, it's going to give us more information. I can actually take this now and then utilize it for my videos, and I can do all sorts of fun things with it. And then there's also like this whole analysis thing, so we can see how many chats and how many active users and how many people are using AI agent that we have created. So you can see, like I said, this one looks really simple, and we can advance this as we go, and I want to show you something we can do, but just want to show you that the start has all these different parameters. So these are the different parameters that someone's going to enter. So we have like optimization, the script, and then the overall summary of what the video could be about. And keep in mind, we can adjust the script to give us like title ideas or whatever we really want. And then if we come here, and these are all our inputs, I'm adding to these as like variables. If we come over here, we can actually see the parameter name. So we're going to say, okay, video info, which was here, video info on this thing here, we can say, okay, we want video info to be reference the start of the agent that we have. So we can say, okay, video info is going to be start. And now we have some options, and we can say, hey, it's the input of the user, video script, and then we can hit start, and then it's video script. And we're basically assigning whatever the user entered into, like, we're going to reference that. We're going to say, okay, this is our variable name now, and this is what the value is going to be assigned. Then we go down and we have an entire system prompt. So this system prompt is going to be sent to our large language model, which is Gemini 2.5 Flash, and it's going to send through, and it tells it exactly what we want with like SEO titles and everything else. And you can see everything that is included. And then it's as simple as going to the end, and now we're going to output the data. Now, this is pretty cool, and this is just one workflow, but like I said before, we can actually make this more advanced. So say we want to connect this, we can actually connect this to a tool, and tools are cool because tools are cool. Subscribe for rhymes. So we actually have like these additional things that we can add. So if we click this one, for example, and you can see that this is like a plugin for images. And if I translate this page, and I wish it was just translated, we can actually see here we can generate images related to the input of our content. And you can actually integrate these plugins right into your project. And truthfully, some of these plugins are a work in progress. And if you go to the GitHub repository, you can see that they are actively working on this project and they will update these plugins over time. Other thing I want to point out is if you go to end, and we have all these different things. I'm going to remove the ones we're not using anymore. So we have our YouTube content and our YouTube ID. So before I said, hey, can you just return the parameters? And it is what it is. We can also configure how we want our answer to be. So if you notice here, I was actually playing around with like formatted image outputs with HTML. We can actually format the output using HTML. So if we want to split this up into like multiple things, we can actually do that. So it's going to like, if we want to split this answer up into multiple pieces, we can actually format the output nicely so it's like formatted out better. So we can actually just take this here, we can click these dots, and we can hit create copy, for example. We can move it up here, and when it runs, we're going to just run both, basically, is what I'm saying. And then we can take this one here, and then we're going to remove some of them, and we're going to have it output something slightly different. And then when we go to the end piece, we can make adjustments accordingly. So, but for now, and for my use case, I'm just going to leave it the way it is because I can just pull the data from the JSON that it creates. So I'm going to just return this back here, and that's my little script that I have that works for me. This is my workflow. And what's really cool is you can take these workflows and you can do a lot of different things with them, as I mentioned before. So we can add like question and answer. So if you have a question, you can give an answer. We have different workflows. So if we have existing workflows that we like, we can actually save them and then they will show up here. And like I showed you, we have different tools. And some of the tools are really cool. So the image one, for whatever reason, it does not work. But we have access to like reading images and PDFs. So that is pretty cool. There's branches that I talked about earlier. We have variable storage. So if you want to store something long-term, you have the ability to do that as well. And we can also extract variables from natural language, which is phenomenal. So there's a lot of really cool things here. And it's basically works out to what do you want your AI agent to do? And that's basically what it comes out to. If you like what you have and you want to share it with someone else, we can actually click this button here, which will export it. And we now have our YML, which I will upload to GitHub, and I'll have a link in the description below so you can test out my little YouTube content creation workflow yourself. And of course, if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. I love the idea that this is like open source and it's going to be a community pushing these workflows, these agent workflows over time. So if you add yours, you're actually just contributing. And if more people do this, eventually we're going to have a big community of workflows that anyone can access and use. And I just love the idea that it's all your own like tokens and AI models and everything like that, because then it's like your data and that's better. So what are your thoughts on this AI agent? If you like it, drop a subscribe, because, I mean, you made it this far. Why not? It's free. Like the video. Tell the algorithm I enjoy more content like this. I want to see more of it. And check it out on GitHub. If you want to star it, definitely star the project, because it adds more, it gives more people a chance to see it. It makes it rank higher. And the more people that see it, the more people that will contribute to it. And the more people that contribute, it's just like a big community of people that are gaining. And it's free, which is phenomenal. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another AI video.
AI tools, AI news, AI prompts you can use. It's all for free. Just come and see at FranklinAI.com, where you're meant to be.